Okay, about to start watching Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix live action series. Let's see if it's any good. Okay, I'm gonna say the introduction not awful, though you don't get a name for the dude who just straight up just spoilers all just straight up dies. And I'm assuming if you haven't been exposed to the Avatar lore, then you probably don't know this old bearded dude is like Ozai's grandfather, who is named Sozin. So that's gonna be confusing for some people. So yeah, I hope they're able to keep up with this. The introduction to the Avatar world, not awful. Like, it's not gonna beat the original, but it does introduce you to what like the whole Avatar like lore is. So I can at least appreciate that. Do appreciate that Aang and Monkey Atsu got a lot more time, but the one thing that kind of irks me is the fact that knowing he gets a speech about like how important Aang is, and them getting that closeness just for Aang to just straight up leave. Okay, getting a whole bunch of info about what happened during Sozin's comment and the air temples, and I must say, I'm kind of really appreciative that they didn't show us the whole kids being offed thing, because that would have been a bit more disturbing than I thought it would be. But do appreciate the note that they actually mentioned Sozin's comment, and that was like one of the like reasons why it was a lit easier for them to take on the air temple. But it's a bit horrifying to watch it, actually. Okay, so Sokka being like, we just saw a giant glowing light just appear from the sky, and this bald-headed kid just appeared out of nowhere. I'm kind of with him with the whole, like, bringing him home thing, because for the love of all things, that would make sense. Like, I wouldn't be safe bringing this mysterious kid home either. Okay, didn't know we needed to have the intro to the show twice. Kind of feels a bit redundant. They could have just literally said, I'm sorry, dear kid, your entire South Temple kind of got sacked. Okay, I don't think they've mastered the whole show don't tell aspect, because we're getting like so many like exposition dumps that I'm like, my god, you can just show us. Did we just skip a moment in which we could have seen the Avatar state? Like, I'm glad Katara got, like, her moment, but, like, Aang going into the Avatar state only happens, like, a handful of times at most. And we just skip it? Okay, I kind of don't appreciate the fact that Aang didn't have, like, Katara to just bring him back into reality. Because that's supposed to be like an intimate moment where they become kind of like their own found family. Don't appreciate the fact they cut that out. Really don't. Okay, I'm gonna say this. The Zuko in this show feels a little bit more bratty to me than the original version. I think it's because, like, the fact that they brought up the whole he wants to keep his place on the throne thing and not about how he wants his honor back. Specifically, like, from, like, his people and his father, specifically. So him being like, I'm keeping my place on the throne kind of just negates the whole, like, honor aspect to me. So I'm like, I liked the original Zuko's motivation. That one felt more keen to me. Okay, moving on to the second episode of Avatar The Last Airbender live-action Netflix series. Let's continue, shall we? Okay, I do not know why they're having Sokka be like, we already helped him with, like, getting away from the Fire Nation. We should probably head back home. In the original series, they were already, like, ride or die, trying to take him to, like, the Southern Water Temple. So, I don't know where the whole, we should probably head home. Like, the Avatar himself, he's a 12-year-old boy, he should be fine. We're really skipping the whole pirate thing? Where Katara gets the scroll, originally? Where she ends up doing something selfish and we figure out that even Katara has her moments? You're just gonna rip that away from me? Really? Apparently they just had that scroll. Okay, I guess. I'm really kind of confused about the whole, like, Aang taking responsibility thing early, because that's his whole arc. That's literally the entire arc. Like, he doesn't start to take things a lot more seriously until, like, middle of season 2 or end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3. So, where's his arc supposed to go? I know I must sound like a broken ass record, but in the show, how Aang was able to prove he was the Avatar was demonstrating his airbending ability. Because there are no other airbenders in the world. Because, you know, they got KO'd. But in this show, he demonstrated he was the Avatar by doing none of that. Just having Avatar Kyoshi's freaking statue has glowing eye things. Which we still have no explanation for why that happens. Because it demonstrated in episode 1 that even Zuko had these, like, toy things that had, like, these eyes that glow. There's no explanation for why they do that. They just do that, apparently. Okay, I don't know how to feel about Kyoshi Island being kind of, like, really so isolationist that they are denying even almost the Avatar himself from learning from his previous lives. Hell, they're keeping him away from learning about the Avatar state. My god, like, they were all for the freaking Avatar, considering she was kind of the reason why they even had an island that was so peaceful to begin with. But in this one, they're just like, they gave this man, or should I say this boy, 48 hours to try to learn anything he can about Kyoshi. That's some BS. I'm glad that he's finally getting to act like a child for once. Aang is actually starting to experience some form that isn't just depression overload, I swear. How is it that this show is making the one relationship that I actually liked in the original series between Sokka and Suki feel awkward? Like, in the original show, I liked how their relationship built. In this one, it just feels so flipping awkward. We got more doom and gloom from Aang, saying that he was more afraid of his powers and that people were afraid of him in his time. Give this kid a break at this point. Okay, how is Aang already, 1, meeting one of his previous lives, and 2, in the spirit world? Those two things are, like, really important in the original series. Like, there were, like, specific things that had to happen in order for Aang to actually talk to his previous lives. Which, he just went straight to Kyoshi? Like, where's freaking Roku? Okay, I'm really hating the fact that they kind of really nerfed Katara, like, severely. Like, they're supposed to already be showing hints that she is, like, a waterbending prodigy. And I haven't seen that yet. Like, why haven't I seen it yet? Well, at least they kept Zhao being a conniving snake, so they kept him in character at least. Okay, I really do feel disappointed with the whole, like, they already showing, like, Ozai's face. Which, in the original series, they kept his face hidden in a shadow for, like, the full, like, 2 seasons. Like, we didn't even get to know what the heck he looked like until season 3. So, I'm kind of disappointed by that, not gonna lie. Okay, let's go 3. Episode 3 of Avatar The Last Airbender, live-action Netflix version. Let's see if I'm trying not to be so nitpicky of the show, because I know it's its own version. But it's kind of really hard not to. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. The introduction to Azula is actually perfect. It shows that she is able to be a perfect manipulator, and how loyal she is to her father. Which, really great demonstration of her character overall. Okay, don't know how to feel about the fact that they're kind of mixing, like, 3 special arcs together. The coming of Omashu, meeting Jet, and especially the Southern Air Temple. They're attempting to, like, actually try to make all those 3 things make sense within one arc. And I don't know if they're pulling it off. Okay, I did not see this coming. They're separating each of the main characters into, like, each of the arcs so far. And not overall a bad idea. I even like the fact that they're giving more time for Katara and Jet to actually talk together. Because we only got, like, 1 episode with Jet in his introduction. And then another time. And he doesn't, like, meet up with the Aang Gang again until, like, the Earth Kingdom. So, this is actually quite refreshing. Nice to know that Jet, regardless of this series or the original series, is always a morally gray character. Perfectly willing and able to, like, knock out innocents if it means taking out even just a small bit of Fire Nation soldiers. You can't take Uncle Iroh right now. Like, you're separating Zuko from his moral compass this soon? Like, my god, we haven't even gotten to Ba Sing Se yet. Okay, I know we're gonna get to see Boomy pretty soon. And although I really do not like how he looks, I really hope they kept his personality intact. Like, even if he looks like crud, please have the personality at least be the same. Okay, let's go to episode 4 of Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action Netflix series. Let's hope they don't end up cutting out any more important stuff. Okay, I really wasn't expecting Aang and Uncle Iroh to have a talk with one another. I've gotta say, that actually just kind of caught me off guard. I love the fact that the conversation between Aang and Uncle Iroh kind of just boils down to, why doesn't the Fire Nation just end this war? Like, they could. And Uncle Iroh's just like, yeah, it ain't that simple. Like, my brother is an a-hole. He's not gonna stop this war. And then Aang brings up, like, why not talk to your nephew Zuko about, like, the fact that his father sucks? And Uncle Iroh's just like, yeah, that might not also be my place to say that. I am genuinely really curious about how Uncle Iroh is gonna escape. Because in the original series, he found, like, really cool and awesome ways to escape his prison, so genuinely waiting for that. My god, the inventor dude is getting on my nerves. Like, my god, you are, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, you are top 10 Courage the Cowardly Dog levels of being a wimp. Like, oh my god. They did not just do the name reveal for Boomy at the beginning of the freaking episode. It's only been 9 minutes. Okay, I'm, like, super confused about why Boomy is doing the trials now, especially when Aang was able to know that he was Boomy from, like, literally the start. So, I'm confused about why he's doing the trial test now. Okay, they really made Boomy a lot more resentful of Aang at the fact that he got to be asleep in an iceberg for 100 years. Which kind of can actually fault them for taking this route, because Boomy actually had to live for 100 years. Meanwhile, Aang was kind of taking a nap in an iceberg. Kind of surprised they went that route. Wow, I did not know that they were going to take the secret tunnel story about, like, the two lovers and make it a lot more brutal than it was in the original series. Okay, I don't know how they did it, but they kind of made Boomy a little bit more sadistic in this version. I think they really need more, like, Sokka and Katara sweet moments, because we're getting a lot of them bickering and fighting, but we're not getting, like, the sweet moments like in the original series, and I'm kind of really missing that. They put leaves on the vine at Uncle Iroh's son's funeral. You freaking monsters. Kind of don't know how to feel about the whole retconning of how the badger moles work, but I guess it's at least an interesting way to put them in the story, I guess. Okay, Boomy's kind of being a great a-hole right now, because he's just basically just telling Aang, like, you left me 100 years ago. It's just like, I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to. Do appreciate that they kept the freaking Aang and Boomy going down the male chute. That is totally something that I would have been upset if they took out. Okay, we're on episode 5 of Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action Netflix series. Let's continue. Really happy that we're finally going to be actually introduced to how the spirit world works, because that's very freaking important. Out of all the things you could have changed, having, like, Zuko's dad actually show any kind of acknowledgement to Zuko without him having the avatar, or being, quote, given credit, like in the original series, is actually kind of irking me. Like, I don't understand why you're giving us, the audience, actually showing us that, like, the Fire Lord is acknowledging his son. The whole point of Zuko's entire thing is that his dad doesn't acknowledge him. Why are you having him acknowledge him? Okay, they actually genuinely surprised me. I knew Aang was gonna go off to the spirit world. He does that a lot in the original series. Did not know that Katara and Sokka were also gonna be joining him in the spirit world. But I guess that's an interesting direction to take. I'm really happy they're giving my girl June, the bounty hunter, her time to shine, because even though she didn't show up a lot in the original series, she was always memorable. Okay, this is confusing me and irking me at the same time. I know that they are mixing episodes into each other to make it more concise, but in this, I gotta put my foot down for this. Okay, the guardian of the forest is one, supposed to be a bear, and two, the guardian of knowledge is supposed to be surrounded by knowledge, aka books, and is supposed to be in a library in the middle of the flipping desert. Why the heck is he in a random forest? Okay, who made the decision to make Azula into a firecracker? Like, the whole point of her being so calm and collected is because you genuinely do not know what decision she's going to make that makes her so much more freaking actually threatening, is the fact that you don't know what she's gonna do. And I know this is gonna sound a bit like a nitpick, but where is Azula's blue fire? Like, her blue fire is kind of like the symbol of the fact that she is in fact a firebending prodigy. Like, where is it? Okay, kind of interesting that we're actually being, like, shown their pasts. I thought it was gonna be kind of, like, similar to when they were in the swamp forest, where they got to just see, like, a glimpse of, like, a loved one or someone they're supposed to meet in the future. But this is an interesting take on that. Out of all the freaking spirit creature things, why'd we have to get the creepy centipede one? The one that literally steals people's faces. Just freaking why? I'm actually genuinely gobsmacked. They found a way to bring Monk Gyatso back in a way that kind of makes sense. If he's in the spirit world, he doesn't need to be alive, and he can still have a reunion with Aang. So, that makes sense. That checks out. I don't know if it was intentionally, but the fact that they made, like, a similar episode to the one where Aang had to go and find frozen frogs to save his friends' lives, it's a bit more dramatic now, because now he has to go into the Fire Nation, talk to Roku about what this thing he stole from the face stealer was, or else his friends are going to be eaten by a face-stealing centipede. That does in fact sound drastically worse. Okay, we're finally on episode 6 of Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action Netflix series, and Jesus, that's a long title. Like, I'm really loving these, like, Uncle Iroh and Zuko moments. It's like, it really just cheers up my soul before it's gonna be torn to shreds. Aang, sometimes I can appreciate your naivete, but my god, you're in enemy territory. Why did you think that Fire Nation people were going to help you? Like, you got one of the Fire Nation priest dudes, but you didn't know that. I'm finding this kind of fun. They made Avatar Roku into a jokester, and he's kind of just messing with Aang. That is just hilarious to me. Okay, I was not expecting us to get lore on the face-stealing centipede, but the gist of it is, he's a mama's boy. Oh, thank God they kept the blue spirit. Like, that is so essential to Zuko's character. Okay, don't know how to feel about the fact that I really hope they're not trying to speed through Zuko's redemption arc, because that is, like, fundamentally really important. I do like the fact that Zuko and Aang are actually getting, like, a moment instead of, like, Zuko just automatically firing a fire shot at Aang as soon as he wakes up, but I don't know if this is a good idea for how his redemption arc is supposed to start, but who knows, maybe I could be wrong. Well, I spoke too soon, because apparently Zuko didn't shoot Aang once, he shot him twice! We're on a roll! Episode 7 of Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action Netflix series, let's go! I want to know how Zhao found out that Zuko was the blue spirit, because they didn't, like, meet up again, and he didn't, like, see the scar thing on his head, so I'm guessing he just, like, went with his gut feeling, and then he just turned out to be right. Zhao just literally sent Zuko ablaze. Okay, they really should not have shown that Suki and Sokka are, like, developing feelings for each other this soon, because, my god, it makes the whole, like, Sokka and Yui thing feel so unnaturally quick. And to anyone who has watched the original series, we already know who wins. By default. Okay, I will applaud their attempt at trying to make the relationship feel kind of natural, but I'm gonna be honest, I still feel a bit cringe. Why did they make Yue's fiancé not an a-hole? It makes it so much harder for you to root for him to want to be with Yue if the dude she's already with isn't an a-hole. Also, as a side note, did they change the moon spirit into being a white fox? Because, like, what is the connection between her and the white fox? Yue was the white talking fox this entire time! Them having the same voice really should have tipped me off, but you never know. Also, them meeting like one other time in the spirit world really shouldn't be the jumping off point for them to be able to kiss, especially since me as like a viewer of the old series knows that she kind of has a fiance, so you know. Okay, at least we gotta confirm that Azula is able to actually shoot sparky boom things from her fingers, but I'm still missing my blue fire, god dang it. Nice to know that it took Aang half of an episode to go from learning one thing to just doing a whole 180. Because first he was just like, my friends need to stay far away from the situation so that they can stay alive. To, you know what, maybe I was wrong. We're on the last episode now. We're on episode 8 of Avatar: The Last Airbender live action Netflix series. Please end on a good note. It took Aang, Katara, and Sokka just to take on one Fire Nation boat. And then they look onto the horizon to find out that there are literal hundreds, if not thousands, of Fire Nation boats. And Aang's response to this is actually quite appropriate. Are you kidding me? If I should take anything from this show, it's the fact that they did Uncle Iroh and Zuko's relationship right. Okay, I'm trying to understand this change. Okay, so apparently they kept the moon and water spirit. Thank goodness for that. But apparently instead of just having them just already being a part of the world, because that was their choice, apparently they turn into mortals one night a year. Why? Like, I'm happy that Katara is getting more moments to shine with her waterbending, but I feel like this should have been shown, like, from the beginning. Like, why wasn't she shown from the beginning that she is literally a waterbending prodigy? Like, I feel like that was kind of glossed over. Okay, I'm really happy that they kept the moon spirit and water spirit as fish. What I don't get is why did they add the whole thing about them only turning into this form one night a year? Like, take that out and it changes nothing. Zhao, it's really hard to take your Moonslayer title seriously when the thing you slayed was a freaking fish. It is the moon spirit, don't get me wrong, but it can't defend itself. 'Cause it's a fish. Okay, I must say, they do make the war scenes, like cheese and rice. The amount of people that I'm just seeing I'm just going, yeah, they're dead. They kept the fish kaiju. Thank you! I thought they were gonna do like a big wave thing like they did in the M. Night Shyamalan movie, but no, they kept the giant fish kaiju. Thank you! Okay, I do not get the whole like Ozai using Zuko as a motivational tool thing. Like, I'm guessing that they're trying to make Azula come off as more insecure, but the thing that made her character so freaking fascinating is the fact that she already knew she was better than her brother. She's a fire-bending prodigy. She was by far the one, at least in the future, if you don't already know, took down Ba Sing Se by herself. She doesn't need a motivational tool. So I don't like this change. Well, Yue became the moon spirit, which I can't say that I didn't see that coming, but at least her death actually had some form of an impact, unlike the movie version of her. You know, it's starting to become quite the pattern that the Fire Nation just seems to just misdirect where they're actually going to attack, which, by all and large, is actually not a bad strategy. And not to mention that Boomy just got his hope restored, just for it to be demolished by his entire home being invaded. That's gonna suck.